Alright, magandang araw sa ating lahat. Halina't samahan niyo ako sa isang makabuluhang paglalakbay tungo sa kaalaman na pinamagatang ang sayantipikong revolusyon. Makinig, magsuri at matuto. And these are the learning outcomes for today's discussion. At the end of the lesson, the student should be able to discuss the contributions of key intellectuals with focus on the revolutionary ideas, discoveries, and inventions. Second, evaluate the important development of science and technology in Mesoamerica, Asia, Middle East, and Africa. And lastly, articulate ways by which society is formed by science and technology. Alright, so fasten our seatbelt as we trace back the revolutionary intellectuals that defined society. Now let us have the glimpse of scientific revolution. The development of modern science and technology can be traced from the scientific revolution in the 60th century to the 80th century that started in Europe. This period was marked with the rise of intellectual leaders fundamental and relatively unprecedented change of attitudes and ideas about the previous knowledge. Advancement in the theories of natural science, in the field of physics, biology, and astronomy, as well in social science such as philosophy, theology, economics, political science, and, of course, in technology in the areas of industrial technology, food technology, and navigation technology. A number of intellectuals synchronized culture, philosophical ideas, they challenged traditional beliefs and science theories, and introduced revolutionary concepts using scientific method as the most valid research method. They employed scientific revolution, measurement, experiments, and formulation, testing and modification of hypotheses. Using mathematics and the scientific method to understand the mysteries in the past, they come up with the new discoveries, inventions, and innovations. All beliefs were proved wrong and were eventually rejected. According to Hunt in 2003, the scientific revolution was a period of transition from an implicit trust in the internal power of man's mind to a professed dependence upon external observation. It means it resulted to the transformation in scientific ideas in the field of mathematics, physics, biology, astronomy, chemistry, and other fields of interest that have changed the views of society about the physical world. It is also laid foundation for the development of new technologies, which continuously and greatly shape the lives and social order. Now let's get to know the key intellectuals with exceptional and revolutionary know-why and know-how that are critical to the viability and growth of the society. Now let's get to know the first one. He is an Italian scientist, artist, and architect who designed the horizontal water wheel, and he invented the following: anemometer, flying machine, parachute, a 33rd barrel, organ, armored car, scuba gear, the centrifugal pump, ball bearing, the war gear, as well as the giant screwball, sub-propelled car, and revolving bridge. And this person is namely Leonardo da Vinci. Now who can guess our second key intellectual, who was born in 1437 and was died in 1543? A Polish physician, economist, mathematician, and astronomer who have developed the Copernican heliocentrism, an astronomical model showing the Sun as the center of the universe and the Earth, together with the other planets orbiting around the Sun in a uniform speed. This model derivated in Aristotle and Claudius Ptolemy ideas about the Earth-based solar system. And this person is known as, or he is, Nicholas Copernicus. Alright, so let's get to see if you know this third key intellectual, who was born in 1546 and died in 1601. He is a Danish astronomer who advised the most precise instrument available before the invention of the telescope for observing the heavens. He compiled extensive data on the planet Mars that have helped Kepler formula to law of planetary motion. He proposed a model of solar system that was intermediate between theomatic and Copernican models, or also known as the model showing the Earth as the center. He is in the person of Tycho Brahe. Now let us have the fourth key intellectual. He was born in 1571 and died in 1630. He is a German astronomer and mathematician who have developed the three laws of planetary motion, which were the following. Planets move around the Sun in ecliptic orbit at different speed and different times. Second, a planet moves at a different speed according to its distance from the Sun. And the third one, the orbit of the planet can be calculated mathematically. He also invented an improved reflecting telescope. He laid the foundation of modern optics and correctly explained the working of human eye. He is also the one who formulated the inverse square law governing the intensity of light. And this person is Johannes Kepler. Alright, so now let's get to know the fifth key intellectual. He was born in 1578 and died in 1657. He is an English physician who have discovered the systematic circulation and properties of blood being pumped by the heart to the all parts of the body. His or this person is known as William Harvey. So let's get to know the sixth key intellectual. Can you guess who? He was born in 1585 and died in 1938. He is a Dutch lensmaker who invented the first compound optical microscope in 1595, a compound microscope that has more than one lens. Can you guess who? He is Zacharias Janssen. Alright, so let's see if you're familiar with the seventh key intellectual, who was born in 1602 and died in 1686. He is a German scientist, inventor, and politician. He established the physics of vacuum and discovered electrostatic repulsion. He invented the first air pump and used in the study the phenomenon and vacuum and the role of air combustion and respiration. He is also known in the light travels through vacuum, but not sound. He is in the person of Otto von Guericke. Getting to know these key intellectuals, let's proceed on the eighth one. He was born in 1627 and died in 1691. He is an Anglo-Irish chemist, physicist, natural philosopher, and inventor. He is also regarded as the father of modern chemistry. He is also a pioneer of modern experimental scientific method, and he is best known for his Boyle's law. This law states that the absolute pressure of a gas is inversely proportional to its volume if the temperature is kept constant within the closed system. This means that if the volume of a gas is increased, the pressure increases proportionally. And this is one of my favorite scientists in the person of Robert Boyle. Alright, so let's get to know the father of microbiology, who was born in 1632 and died in 1723. A Dutch scientist who discovered single-celled organisms which he called animalcule, and now grouped with the protist. He also invented the microscope and made over 500 microscopes. He discovered bacteria in water, sperm cell, blood cells, and a lot more, using a 300 times power single lens microscope. He can also use his lenses to revolve details as small as 1.35 micrometer. This means that he could easily see red blood cells, which are typically 6 to 7 micrometer in diameter. And this great person is Anton Philip von Leeuwenhoek. Now let's get to know one of the most influential key intellectual. He was born in 1642 and died in 1727. He is an English mathematician, an astronomer, and physicist. In his book entitled In Principia, he mentioned his discovery of calculus and the three laws of motion, which were the following. The first law, also known as inertia, which states that every object will remain at rest or in uniform motion in a straight line unless acted upon by action of external force. The second law, also known as the force, which states that the acceleration of object is dependent upon two variables, and these are the net force acting upon the object and the mass of the object. And the third law, known as the action and reaction, which states that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. In the same book, he also introduced the law of universal gravitation, which states that any two bodies in the universe attract each other with a force that is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. He also developed the binomial theorem and calculus, which today is widely used in science, in engineering, and even in economics. Calculus is also used to solve many problems that algebra alone cannot. He also invented the first successful reflecting microscope, known as the Newtonian telescope, which used mirrors instead of lenses. And also, his theory of color, which held that the individual ray of light excites sensation of color when they strike the retina of the eye. And this great person is in the person of Sir Isaac Newton. Now let's get to know one of the most controversial key intellectual, who was born in 1809 and died in 1882. He is an English naturalist, geologist, and biologist. He is best known for his contribution to the science of evolution. His work on the origin of species explains that the theory of evolution, also known as the Darwinism. His theory emphasized that all organisms on Earth had descended from the common ancestor, that all species developed through the natural selection of small, inherited variation that increased the individual's ability to compete, survive, and reproduce. The best adapted variations survive to produce new generations; those that fail to evolve and produce or reproduce become extinct. And this person is Charles Darwin. And now we are down to the last key intellectual. He was born in 1856 and died in 1939. He is an Australian neurologist and known as the father of psychoanalysis. He is best known for his work Theory of the Unconscious Mind, especially involving the mechanism of repression. His redefinition of sexual desires as a mobile and directed towards a wide variety of objects, and his therapeutic techniques, especially his understanding of transference in the therapeutic relationship and presumed value of dreams as source of insight into unconscious desires. The goal of psychoanalysis was to make the unconscious conscious, that is, to bring consciousness repressed thought and feelings. Together with Joseph Brewer, an Australian psychologist who treated mental disorder by using hypnosis, both observed that a neurotic patient condition improved when the source of the later ideas and pulses were brought into consciousness while under the influence of hypnosis. His theory therapy enabled the patient to recall the sad or traumatic experiences in the past and bring them back to consciousness. In doing so, confront them intellectually and emotionally. The patient could then clear his or her mind of those bad memories. Hence, the neurotic symptoms were overcome. And this person is known as Sigmund Freud. And these are some of the most discussed psychoanalytical theories, including the following: id, ego, and superego, physic energy, Oedipus complex, and dream analysis. Now let's proceed to science and technology in Mesoamerica. Mesoamerica refers to the pre-Spanish or pre-Columbian culture region in what is known now as the Central and South America. Mesoamerica was one of the cradle of civilization in the world. This region gave rise to a series of development that includes complex societies, cities, astronomy, agriculture, mathematics, monumental architects, writing system, calendrical system. Stone Age technology was dominant in this region. Mesoamerica had three indigenous civilizations: the Maya, the Aztec, and the Inca. These highly advanced civilizations was notable in their incredible achievements in engineering and in science because they highly valued education. Now let's talk more about Maya. The Mayans lived in parts of the present-day Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras, were responsible for a number of remarkable scientific achievements in writing, in astronomy, in agriculture, in engineering, and among others. And then we also have the Inca. The Inca civilization was a vast empire that flourished in the Andes mountain and in the valley of Cuzco in southern Peru. According to UNESCO, the different intricate roads, bridges, trail system, irrigation canals, and agricultural areas suggest human use the site for a long time. The geographical location of this civilization had shaped their technological adaptations. Inca connected their vast empire with a system of roadways to facilitate communication. You also have to move army troops and to transport goods. Its peak in Incan highway system covered nearly 25,000 miles, with a road that ranges from 3 to 13 feet in wide. It consisted of the simple dirt and fine paving stones. And lastly, we have the Aztec. The Aztecs were the nomadic tribe of central Mexico in the 30th to the 6th centuries. They called themselves as Mexica, or pronounced as Mexica. They were Mesoamerica's last great native civilization. And we also have science and technology in Asia. Asia is a region rich in history of innovation in the first few millennium of human civilization. No other continent could rival it, according to Batch in 2006. The contribution of Asia in the development of science and technology had a big impact in the present-day society, and this include India and China. Now let's first talk about India. Civilization in India started in the Indus River Valley as early as 4500 BC. The first settler engaged in farming. They used hand-propelled wheel, shark and animal-drawn plow mainly for agricultural purposes. To improve the production of their crops, they developed and used irrigation and water storage systems, including artificial reservoir, drainage system and sewerage. And then we also have China. History gives account of China as one of the greatest cradles of civilization worldwide. To date, China holds leading position in many fields, especially in science, technology, and innovation. In the field of information and communication, the invention of paper greatly affect human history. Ceylon made significant innovation and helped drive its widespread adaptation. Woodblock printing was already a widely used technique in the Tang Dynasty. However, this kind of printing tech was expensive and time-consuming. Until the Song Dynasty, Bai Sheng-yin invented movable type printing, making it quicker and easier. Different technology was also invented, like the compass, a navigational instrument that showed directions. The first water-driven mechanical clock and the earthquake detector was used to determine the direction of earthquake. It was the first time that mankind to detect earthquake, row crop farming, and different agriculture tools were apparently advancement in agricultural farming. The ancient Chinese were very advanced in medicine, and this civilization made medicine from plants, and they also believed that the human body is composed of system. Acupuncture, as a process of inserting medical needles, is a system of needed to be adjusted or reset. Other popular inventions and innovations of ancient China were the following: rockets, gunpowder, grenades, fireworks, first planetarium, porcelain, iron plow, abacus, kites and lanterns, relief maps, repeating, crossbows, bamboo toys, paper money, rattle, wheelboats, shadow clock, poison gas, fine lance, gunpowder, incendiaries, iron casting, cartridge wheels, wheelbarrow, water wheels, silk, tear gas made from the powdered lime. We also have science and technology in the Middle East. Early Islamic teaching encouraged and promoted the pursuit of scholarship and science. Seeking knowledge about the natural world was seen as the duty of every Muslim. The civilization that developed in Mesopotamia, known as Iraq, and in Persia, now known as the Iran and Egypt, have been dominated the Muslims, follower of the Islam, since the 7th century. The antiquity were the leading example of communities with indigenous science and technology. Because of their access to the rich Greek culture heritage from the Byzantine Empire and their proximity to India, A number of Muslim intellectuals soon revolutionized ideas on matters of science and technology. They embraced scientific methods, practiced critical thinking, and produced new products as a result of experiments and observations. Consequently, the new knowledge brought about changes in the lives of the people. Moreover, new developments in science and technology give rise to human flourish and better life. And lastly, we also have science and technology in Africa. Despite the suffering to the era of horrific system of slavery, the early Africans had their shares of countless achievements in the field of science and technology. Many modern science high school level concepts in mathematics were first developed in Africa. The people in present-day Zaire developed their own numerical system. The Yoruba system was based on the units of 20 instead of 10 and required an impressive amount of subtraction to identify different numbers. Scholars have lauded this system as it required much abstract reasoning. Moreover, the ancient Egyptians had fully developed the fundamentals of algebra and geometry, as well as the principle of Pythagorean theorem. They used fractions and for basic mathematical operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. They could also compute the surface area of a triangle and circles. The oldest known African artifacts in mathematics is the Lubumbu bone, which is located in the mountain between Swaziland and South Africa. It dates from 35,000 BCE. And these are the references that I may use for this topic. Alright, so that's the end of our presentation. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have learned something to this topic. Now, I have a bonus point for you. If you can answer this on the comment section, you will gain 10 points credit for your class standing. Now here's the question. Choose one revolutionary idea. It can be a theory, concept, application, or technology from any of the time periods, and then describe how technology may affect people's lives and the future. Again, choose one revolutionary idea. It can be a form of theory, concept, application, or technology from any of the time period, and then describe how technology may affect people's lives and the future, in not more than 3 sentences. Alright, see your answer on the comment box. Good luck! Thank you for learning with me today, but please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe. See you on my next discussion. Goodbye!
Dragonfly.